All right, so we're going to talk about how to write a two-variable linear equation. And we're going to use multiple different ways to write this equation, slope-intercept form and point-slope form predominantly. And so you're going to be given enough information to write the equation, although it's probably not going to seem like enough information whenever you first look at it. So this problem that we're looking at here gives us two pieces of information, the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So in order to write a linear equation, what are the two pieces of information I need to have? In slope-intercept or in point-slope, I need to have slope. So that's one of the things I need. So step number one is find the slope. I actually don't need both. Step two is I just need a point. If I want to write it in point-slope, I just need any point. But the y-intercept is preferred because then I can write it in slope-intercept form. If I'm not given the y-intercept, I can use point-slope, and that's fine. But I prefer the y-intercept just because that makes life a little easier for me. Okay, so how do I find slope? Slope is m, good, m equals. It's the change in y over the change in x. If I had a graph, I could count rise over run. So I could, I guess, technically make a graph of this. But that sounds like a lot of work compared to just plugging in a couple of numbers. It's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Cool. So in order to use this slope formula, I need 2 points. Do I have 2 points?
Not yet, but we do, but we have to write it as.
Exactly right. We do have 2 points. They just weren't written that way. So we were given the x-intercept. We were told the x-intercept was -9. What is that as a coordinate?
That means it's 0, -9?
Close. That would be the y-intercept.
Or 9,
How
or -9.
about -9, 0? The x-intercept always has 0 for the y-coordinate.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Which, using your deductive reasoning skills, tells us that the y-intercept will be 0, 4. Excellent. Cool. Now I've got 2 coordinates that I can use in that slope formula. So let's go ahead and we'll call the first one x1 and y1. And we'll call the second coordinate x2 and y2. I don't have to. I could have done x2, y2 first. That just would have been weird. So m equals, and now I'm going to plug in those numbers, y2 minus y1 on the top, and on the bottom, x2 minus x1. 4 minus 0 is 4. 0 minus 9 is -9. So I could write the slope to this equation as m equals -4/9. Step 1 complete. I found the slope. Step 2 is to find a point. Any point will work, but if I have the y-intercept, I prefer the y-intercept. Do I have the y-intercept?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. This guy right here, 0, 4. If I have the y-intercept and the slope, I can write the equation in slope-intercept form. It can be step 3. Write the equation. And I'm going to write it in either point-slope or slope-intercept form. I use slope-intercept form if I have the y-intercept. And I do have the y-intercept, so I can use slope-intercept. Someone refresh my memory. It's been so long. What is slope-intercept form?
Isn't that the one one where it's like,
Well, it starts with y equals.
oh yeah, y equals m.
Mm-hmm.
Divide? Not divide, but over.
Y equals m. Nailed it.
Y equals m over x.
So close. Y equals m times x.
I'm sorry.
Plus b.
I don't retain information.
I think I've nailed it so far. No mistakes. You don't see any mistakes, right? No? No mistake? Okay. So the m in this problem should equal, right, or just negative 4/9. And the b should equal,
You got another B?
what was the y-intercept?
Oh,
4. See any mistakes?
No.
Okay, well then I'm just gonna have to tell you there's a mistake. Hmm? Really
because I
thought,
had,
really thought somebody was gonna call me out on it way earlier. Gotta pay attention, I'm sneaky.
that's not so intercept.
No, it is.
Um,
It's a tiny little math error in here. No one saw it.
You didn't add a negative to the line.
Yeah, very
I
good.
saw it before, I thought
Oh, did you say it before and I didn't hear you?
you- Yeah.
Okay, so the formula is x minus x, but the x was a negative. So it should have been minus a negative 9, which would give me positive 9. So this should be positive 4/9. Positive 4/9. So the answer is y equals 4/9 x plus 4. You gotta watch me. I mess up
noticed that,
all the
but I
time.
just skimmed over it.
I just make mistakes all the time. You gotta be on the lookout for all my mistakes. For example, I just wrote in orange and then highlighted in yellow. That was a mistake. No going back now. Orange and yellow, not a great combination. Not a great combination.
Is it because we're so close in the color spectrum?
Probably. I just think it's ugly. Green and orange, though, awesome. Red and orange, not recommended. Okay. Pay attention. I might make more mistakes. I probably will make more mistakes. I just mess up all the time. It's because I have a lack of confidence when it comes to math. Just,
When you're our math teacher.
Hey, the only way to get better at something is to do it all the time. I wanted to get better at math, so here we go. First time you do something, you're never very good at it, are you?
Depends on what it is.
Does it?
Mhm.
What's something you've done that you were really good at the first time you did it?
Shooting guns.
The first time you shot a gun, you were good at it? You hit your target every time, huh? That's pretty
The first
impressive.
time I played frisbee golf, I was good at it.
That's impressive too. Frisbee golf ain't easy.
Because I don't have to throw it.
So let me ask you a question that I have not asked you since the beginning of the last problem. What do I need in order to write an equation? Slope, and I would prefer the y-intercept, but I can get away with, sure, or any point. Slope and a point is what I need. Y-intercept's from a preference, but we don't always get what we want. So step one is going to be find the slope. Step two is find a point. And just like last time, y-intercept is preferred. Now in this problem, I was not given the y-intercept. The last problem just said, hey, the y-intercept's 4. This problem didn't say that. It said it passes through this point. So this time I do not get my preference, which is the y-intercept. I just get a point, and that's okay. So I'm actually going to do step 2 first, just because it's so easy. It just gave me the point. That's nice. How am I supposed to find the slope? On the last problem, I got 2 different coordinates, so I could use the slope formula. This one I wasn't given that. This one I was given an equation.
Point slope formula?
Say it again.
We use point slope formula?
We're going to have to use point slope when we write our final answer because we were given a point instead of an intercept. But how do I find the slope of that equation? Or any equation for that matter. How can I find the slope of an equation?
We have to find the other point.
I could, maybe, by plugging in a value for x and solving for y. Or I could just turn this into slope-intercept form.
Never get this right.
If I convert it into slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, I'm going to have a pretty easy time because if I turn it into y equals mx plus b, the m is the slope. That'd be handy. So let's see if we can do that. So I'm going to, I think, subtract 2x on both sides. Trying to get y isolated. I got y plus 1 equals negative 2x. The y is not quite isolated yet, but it's close. I just have to subtract 1 on both sides. And negative 2x minus 1 is going to give me negative 3x. That look good? So what's my slope? Negative, well, not the x, just the number.
Oh, negative.
Slope negative 3? Sure about that?
Wait, what'd you say?
The slope's negative 3? Everybody feels like,
Not a mistake.
I don't know, did I?
I feel like 0 minus 2 would be just 2. Or am I wrong?
0 minus 2 is negative 2. Anybody see a mistake?
Maybe 3. 2, 1.
What's negative 2x minus 1? Let me ask you this question. Can I combine something with an x and something without an x?
You have to divide it?
No, I'm subtracting it. But can I combine something with a variable? Julian's shaking his head no, and you're right. That's my mistake. It's not negative 3x. I can't combine those at all. I have to leave them separate. Negative 2x minus 1. So what's the slope of that line? That's the whole equation. What's just the slope? Negative 2. Is that going to be the slope of my new line? Probably not, because if we go back up and read the question, I want something that is perpendicular to that line. Perpendicular lines don't have the same slope. How do I find a perpendicular slope? It means the two lines intersect at a 90-degree angle.
Okay.
What does it mean for the slope? Yes. Negative reciprocal. 1/2. So I've got the slope and I've got a point. So then step 3 is going to be write the equation in point slope form. So point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. It's an equation only a mother could love.
Y minus 5 equals 1/2 parentheses x plus y.
Yeah, the x1, y1 is going to be my coordinate, which was -5, +5. So my equation will be y minus y1, which is 5, equals m, which was 1/2, and in parentheses x minus x1, which is -5. Right, our x coordinate was -5, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. You're right.
The way that we wrote this is fine, but I don't like that there's minus and negative.
They go together.
Exactly right. They go together like peanut butter and peas.
Ew,
Don't tell me you've never had a peanut butter and pea sandwich.
that's disgusting.
What?
You are, ugh. These
Uh,
are good, but,
Don't knock it till you try it.
Okay, then we're gonna bring peanut butter and peas on Monday and see if you will actually eat it.
Well, I know I like it. I think you should try it. Now I can take this equation if I wanted to, and I could convert that to slope-intercept.
wait. Is it gonna be y? We're doing this.
So I would do the distributive property, which would give me 1/2 x plus 5/2 if I distributed the 1/2. And then I would just add 5 onto the other side. You can find a common denominator and do this. Do 5/2 plus 5. It'd be 10/2, right? Which gives me a total of 15/2. And there it is in slope-intercept. So if the question says, find this equation, but also I demand slope-intercept form, once you get done wailing and gnashing your teeth, you could do it. Will you enjoy it? Hard to say, but you could do it.
So the x is already have it. That's all I think.
Now you know our day wouldn't be complete without a word problem. An online bookstore, we'll call it Schmamazon, is having a sale.
What slide is this?
12. Page 6.
Why does it not have it? Oh, because you're mixing it up.
All books are being sold for one low price. Act now. Supplies are limited. No purchase necessary to enter. No substitutions, exchanges, or refunds. All sales final. And viewer discretion is advised. And if you order now, you'll get an extra free complimentary bonus gift. A combination key ring and coffee maker.
Does anyone remember having like book fairs?
You know what? I do remember having scholastic book fairs, and to be honest with you, I've been chasing that high ever since.
You don't have a library. You can use a bathroom.
We do have a library.
Right there.
We have a library in the other building.
Well, we can use the bathroom for this one.
I mean, why would you do that instead of just using the library?
Because sometimes you need to do something when you're
Yeah, but then there could only be one person at a time at the book fair.
No, there's 3 stalls.
And depending who was in there before you, you might not want to go to the book fair.
You know what, Bob? You can keep them.
Bookstore. Fine.
I love books.
I
I love semi book.
The last book I've read,
What is a semi-book? Like books about trucks?
No,
the last book that I've read
I
fully
like
is
the
The Dog's
sometimes,
Purpose.
sometimes I don't.
Oh, so you don't like semi-books. You semi-like books.
Yeah.
Because a semi-book is either you take a book and tear it in half, or it is a book about big rigs.
That's a real cliffhanger to be carried out.
Or it's totally confusing, depending on which half you start with.
Which half do I want to
I
start
need to
with?
know.
Do I want to know anything about the characters and their motivation, or do I want to know how the story ends? Got to pick one.
How the story ends. So you can
I would know how to
so
story
you can
ends because you
prepare
put together
up
what
to that
happened.
Okay.
moment.
So at first glance, this problem looks like it's not related at all to the problems that we were just doing, but
You're gonna find a way to make it.
you can turn all of this information into coordinates. For example, if I make XY coordinates, just like I did before, and I say X is going to be the number of books, and Y is going to be the total cost, I could write a coordinate for each one of these 3 people. So let's take your girl Kendra. Kendra ordered 3 books and paid $23.50. So her coordinate would be 3, comma, $23.50. Sure. Marvin, Chuck's cousin, 5 books, $33.50. That was a little Back to the Future reference.
Why did I say chicken?
Since I know none of you people have seen Back to the Future in a long time.
I have.
You've seen it?
What's that?
Have you seen all 3?
No, I see like 2.
There we go. We can do coordinates for all 3 of these people. Kendra, Marvin, and Ling.
Me.
Ling. So you might be tempted to say, I know how much it costs per book. Ling bought 2 books for $18.50. I'll just do $18.50 divided by 2. Can someone explain to me why that would not work? Why could I not just do $18.50 divided by 2 to figure out the cost per book? $18.50 divided by 2 is not going to give me the correct answer because think about buying books or anything online. Tax or shipping. So I don't necessarily know that it's, if I divided that in half, I'd get $9.25. I don't know that it's $9.25 per book.
They can add more shipping costs if you put in more books.
They might, or they might charge a flat shipping rate. We don't know. We got to figure it out. So one of the things that I need to do, just like in every other problem we've done, is figure out the slope. That's going to be step 1, is to find the slope. Now, this is like the first example problem we did, where we can use the slope formula because we have coordinates. Actually, I have 3 coordinates. I only need 2 for the slope formula. Which 2 should I use? I mean, the short answer is it doesn't matter. The long answer is it doesn't matter. And the medium answer is, if I can pick any ones I want, I'm going to pick the 2 with the smallest numbers. Kendra and Ling. So I'm going to use Kendra's 323.50. I want to stress I would get the exact same answer if I used Marvin. I'm just picking these because the numbers are smallest. That's the only reason.
Yeah, they pick the biggest numbers.
So x1, y1, and x2, y2. And now I'm going to plug it in to that formula that we used earlier. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which gives me -5 on top and -1 on bottom. So my slope is 5. Stop right there. 5 what? What does the 5 mean?
It's the slope.
Well, what does it mean?
Is that
It is the slope. What does it mean? Keep going. $5 per book. Exactly right. So this means $5 per book. Very good. And you're right. That is my slope. Because my total cost goes up by $5 for every book I buy. But I know now for sure that there is some sort of shipping cost involved because Ling bought 2 books and paid $18.50. If it was just $5 per book, it would have been $10. So clearly there's a shipping cost. That's the y-intercept. It's the amount you pay no matter how many books you buy. So I'm going to find the y-intercept. I could just use a point and convert it into point slope form. There's nothing wrong with that. But I want to show you how to do it the other way as well. Find the y-intercept. And again, I'm going to use Ling just because he's got the smallest numbers. Ling? I don't know. You're right. I assumed Ling's gender. I apologize. The slope is 5. And I'm going to use Ling. He or she bought 2 books for $18.50. So let's just call that the X and the Y. And now I'm going to do slope-intercept form. I could do point slope. There's nothing wrong with doing point slope and converting it just like I did before. That is not a problem. I just want to show you how to do it. Well, I'm not going to show you. I'm going to review with you how to do it the other way because we've done it once before. So I'm going to do y equals mx plus b. And I know 3 of these variables. I just don't know b. So I'm going to replace the y with 1850 If you want to write 18.5, that's fine. Equals, my m is 5, very good, times 2, it's my x, plus b. So that'll give me 1850 equals 10 plus b. So b is 8.5 or 850. What is that? What does 850 mean? That's like tax or shipping. I'm thinking it's probably shipping. I'm thinking tax is included. And the reason I think tax is included and it's shipping is because every other person has $5 per book and then $8.50 added on. So I think the tax is included in the cost of the book. Otherwise, like Marvin, who bought 5 books, $25 was the books, and then $8.50 shipping gives him $33.50. So it looks like everybody's paying $8.50.
Are you saying it's the shipping?
Yes,
Well, is it,
$8.50.
are they adding the shipping cost for every book?
No, it looks like they're just sending you one box in the mail that costs $8.50. So then our full equation would be y equals 5x plus 850. You take the number of books you want and multiply by 5 because it costs $5 per book, and then you add 850 for shipping. Schmamazon does not offer free Super Saver shipping. Their competitors, whose names we won't mention because we don't want to promote them, do free shipping. Schmamazon charges you shipping, but low prices. Only $5 a book. Let's see our competitors beat that. Now, the question was not what's the equation. The question was the cost for 15 books.
I know the cost.
If the cost is 15 books, that means x equals 15, because if you'll recall up at the top, we said x was the number of books. Okay, so I'm going to take this equation, y equals 5 times 15 plus 850. And Shelby, you said you know the cost. What is it?
It's $82.50.
So what's our conclusion here?
The total cost for 15 books is $82.50.
The total cost of 15 books is $83.50. If I could get free shipping, it'd only be $75. Could save myself the $8.50. But probably they said free shipping on orders that are at least $76, and I didn't quite get there. Who has questions? God bless you, my child. Who has questions about these 2 variable linear equations and how to write and solve them? I'm gonna take a look at the chat right now. All right, people in the chat acknowledging that they have seen the Back to the Future movies. Good.
Crazy old man and young kid. Man makes a car that goes back into time.
Any questions from our Zoomers or our in-presenters?
How do I get big brain from them? Like how do I
Amala says nope. Ryan says nope. Okay, algebra kiddos.